Hello and welcome back to Breaking Mayberry, a brand new season of the show about trying to understand America today a brand new season of the show about trying to understand America today by seeing what they watched in the 19th. This sucks, man. I'm out of practice. No,
it's gonna be a rough one. Like, I think I don't know what to do with my arms during this. Like, what do I do with my arms while we
shove them down the front of your pants?
I feel like we include the part of you flubbing and just do like a very relatable. We took a month away and we accomplished nothing. And if anything, we got worse. We can't do this anymore, and it's gonna be super bad.
Okay,
you can do this.
Welcome back to another episode and another season of Breaking Mayberry, the show where two young gentlemen try to watch the Andy Griffith Show in hopes of understanding why America's on fire.
Over the course of the time off, we upgraded to young gentlemen rather than a couple of guys.
Yeah, that was our only accomplishment during our hiatus.
We accomplished nothing.
We got none of the things we wanted to get done.
We did not make a website.
We are going to make a website. We do still have a Patreon, patreon.com/Breaking Mayberry. That's our website. Check it out. Go there and give us money.
Please. So that we can do things with it, ?
Yeah, we probably shouldn't just admit that we haven't done anything with the money that's been given us so far.
We're trying.
Yeah. I'm Marty Schneider.
I'm Dan Ludwig.
Oh, and we're now on season 2 of the Andy Griffith Show. Coming back from this, I'm glad to get back in the studio, back recording with you, but man, it was nice taking a few weeks off out of Mayberry, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, no, my plan was to, like, watch all of season 2 while we were away, and I got, like, 8 in and just had to stop.
Well, let's talk about that, because I think we should just temper some expectations right now. This second season, man, it is rough in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, it stops doing the wild and weird stuff that we were really used to for season 1, but it just backloads that for this latter half of the season.
Yeah.
So these first couple of episodes, we're going to have to actually learn things and, like, explain stuff.
I mean, this is, I think you could define it as the gender season. Like, Season 1 was a gender season. This is the gender season.
God, it's like Andy and Barney are just going out of their way to see who can be shittier to women, like, in a contest.
They're shitty to women. There's a lot of shitty male stuff, as we'll touch on in this episode. And also, it gets really upsettingly horny at points.
Oh, yeah. Upsettingly horny is a good phrase. The episode we're doing today, Opie and the Bully, written by David Adler, aired October 2nd, 1961, directed by Home Depot line of credit holder Bob Sweeney.
Horniest guy in the retirement home, Bob Sweeney.
I want to say, like, this is almost the Griffithist of Andy Griffith episodes. Because, like, not a whole lot happens in this episode, but it is just a pretty simple, child has problem, dad solves problem.
It's, on the surface, like, if you don't really pay attention, it just seems like some cookie cutter leave it to beaver bullshit. There is so much bullshit floating underneath, like your cursory awareness of this show. Like, if you squint at it, you'll see just layers upon layers of Andy Griffith being a shitty dad.
I feel like a lot of your father issues are going to come out in this episode, Dan.
Oh, yeah. My father, like, I'm going to get into so many father issues that I'm going to have to borrow other people's issues with their dads.
You want to launch into it, I guess?
Let's fucking tear into it.
All right. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, team.
Let's ride the nightmare.
All right, so one sentence summary from Wikipedia. When Andy finds out a bully is repeatedly taking Opie's milk money, he encourages Opie, to stand up for himself. That's accurate. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what happens here.
Yeah, no, it's and it's a pretty like old story of just dad teaches son to deal with bully, and it's like the oldest fucking thing of like, you gotta fight your bully, which
It'll stand up for yourself. I don't know if like it's weird about the fighting thing. He never specifically says fight, but he also
100% says fight that child.
All right. But like also the opportunity arises to like do some fight training, and he completely dismisses that. It's a weird balance of logic here.
He wants Opie to fight his bully, but be shitty about it.
Yeah. Make sure that you're as big a dick as possible.
Yeah. He wants Opie to like not do a good job at fighting his bully. He wants Opie to like kind of get his ass kicked.
But make sure that you are like as self-aggrandizing as possible.
Yeah. What your son really needs to be is the kind of dude who doesn't know how to fight, but will pick a fight at a moment's notice. Like, that's really the kind of person that you want to explicitly raise.
That's Barney Fife right there.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, this is all coming full circle. He's just making a little Barney Fife.
He's making himself a secondary Barney.
The adult that he also parents. So it kind of works out perfectly.
Our episode opens with Opie and Aunt Bee in the kitchen getting ready for school. They're getting ready for school, and Aunt Bee is packing a lunch for Opie, and she's giving him a lecture about an apple pie and a sandwich, basically, that's in there. And she's basically like explaining, now, remember, I want you to eat the sandwich first and then the apple pie. Eat your sandwich first and the apple pie.
Over the course of these 3 scenes, Aunt Bee says the words apple pie maybe 20 times.
We're reminded that this is Aunt Bee's personality after a certain point. It's just, I create foodstuffs. Here are some food things for you.
To the point that this one is really sad, where I'm like, Aunt Bee, there is a point to you beyond food creation, I'm sure.
You have purpose. You have value.
There's gotta be a personality in there, right? Like, we've seen it. You call people on their shit very effectively. You're great at psychological manipulation. You don't have to lean on pie this hard.
Aunt Bee does get some good stuff to do this season, but not this episode.
No, she comes in like hard, mentions apple pie upwards of 20 times, and then just vanishes.
So obviously, Opie makes some cracks about like he doesn't want to do that because if he gets full, he would rather have eaten the apple pie than the sandwich. Blah blah blah. Oh, and he asks for a nickel for milk. And so Aunt Bee gives her a nickel. And says, make sure that you use this nickel for milk, not another piece of apple pie!
That was a solid Aunt Bee. Yeah. If that boy, I had to, nope, I can't do it. I do like some Great British Bake Off shit. Like,
dude, have you been watching the Great British Bake Off?
No, I think
Great
I'm
British Baking Show rules.
I think I'm the last human being not watching the Great British
Baking Show. I love it so much. Like, you know what? You're not ready for it yet.
Yeah.
When you're ready, the Great British Baking Show will find you.
I feel like I'm the last person in like the best pandemic. Like I Am Legend, but for just being extremely happy with life.
Opie takes his nickel. He's told not to buy apple pie with it. He says he won't, which is true.
Yeah.
And then he goes into the living room where Andy's getting ready for work, and he asks Andy for a nickel for milk. And Andy does his southernism, finds one, hands it over, and Opie goes off to his merry way. Aunt Bee comes in and
discusses pie,
says, oh, was that pie very good? Maybe that pie had some problems with it, huh? She's fishing for compliments about the pie. Andy doesn't give it to her, and then she yells at him, basically scolds him for not complimenting her pie.
Yeah, it's a whole weird scene. It's a cry for help. Aunt Bee is doing a cry for help in this scene. And Andy is just like, well, let's go eat the shitty pie you made.
But she clearly says it's the best pie she ever made. And he's like, well, what if it was so terrible we had to go eat it all up right now? Also, it's like 8 a.m. Like, why are these people eating pie for breakfast?
Because I think Andy just wants her to shut up about pie. And if it's gone, like, if he had left it uneaten, she'd be, like, swinging by the jailhouse. She'd be like, I made a pie! As she's, like, walking past. Just, like spray painting on the side of his car pie and just scuttling away.
It occurs to Andy that during their discussion, Aunt Bee mentioned that she wanted Opie to spend the nickel that she gave him, not on pie, on milk, not pie. And it occurs to Andy, Wonder why he needed 2 nickels.
Which he really thinks about more than I think most parents would, of just being like, oh, that dick kid. That fucking asshole kid just wanted 2 nickels because it's money. Right. It's candy money.
Yeah, you don't need to be the world's greatest detective on this one, Andy. I will, however, point out, he spends more time thinking about why his son wanted 2 nickels than he has done any crime in this entire series.
Yeah.
He's really trying to puzzle that one out.
He gives his child more benefit of the doubt than any child deserves because children are little demons. Like, a very valid option was Opie wants that second nickel so he can throw it in a river because fuck society.
Little anarchist Opie.
Yeah, exactly. They're tiny demons.
Speaking of tiny demons, let's talk about what happened in the next scene. We find out why Opie needs 2 nickels.
Opie is walking down the street, and a slightly taller boy comes out.
Hi, Opie. Hi. Sheldon. Yeah? You wouldn't like to sort of let me pass by your street today for free, would you? Why should I? Well, then I could give Paul back a nickel I sort of owe him. Who's stopping you? Well, if I give him back his nickel, and I have to give you a nickel for passing by your street, I ain't gonna have no nickel for milk. And boy, Sheldon, it ain't easy getting a peanut butter and jelly sandwich down dry. Yesterday, I almost choked. Drink water. Well, if I don't drink milk, I'll get soft bones. I sure would like to give Paul back his nickel, Sheldon. What if I say I won't give you the nickel? A knuckle sandwich. Yeah. You want to try it? No.
Boy's name is Sheldon.
Because you could have a bully named Sheldon in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Sheldon wasn't a swirly name.
I know, yeah. Honestly, a kid in high school could have been like 3 times my size with a robot arm, and if his name had been Sheldon, I would have been like, yeah, fuck off. The laws of physics will not allow you to hurt me. Your name is Sheldon.
Fun fact about Dan and I, we actually, before landing on the Andy Griffith Show, attempted to watch Young Sheldon for a podcast.
Oh my god.
That has been lost to hard drives of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We could have released that as a bonus episode.
Yeah, we might come back to it, though, and torture ourselves again for, like, a bonus for our Patreon subscribers. Patreon.com/Breaking Mayberry.
I'm still proud of the name, I have no mouth and I'm a Sheldon. But yeah, Sheldon, like, pops up and says, like, you know, the bully shit.
I gotta be honest, this kid is really good, though.
Oh, kid!
This cold, dead-eyed, steely motherfucker is just like, hey, you want to cross my road? You gotta give a nickel. You know the deal. And Opie's, like, trying to talk his way out of it.
His talking his way out of it is so shitty because he just explains scarcity to Sheldon. And it's just like, so if I give you a nickel, I don't have a nickel. And Sheldon's like, all right, I'm following this.
I'm on board.
But I want the nickel because I want to drink milk. All right, well, that's not my problem, but I want milk. Drink water.
No, it's not. It's drink water.
To which, like, Opie's response is, of the first of many times he says this, but then I won't get strong bones. Don't you want me to get strong bones, Sheldon?
Which clearly he does not.
No, they're easier to break. He wants you weak so he can pick on you.
So he threatens him with a knuckle sandwich. I'll be honest, like, this kid is good at bullying, even though he is only slightly taller than Opie. Like, I took out my wallet and threw $10 at the screen. I was like, here!
I feel like, bullying is at that age is mostly just knowing what to do with your shoulders. Like
you get just a forward hunch.
Just an angry hunch and I think having a sharp chin. Like, they're all children, all their bodies are equally weak and shitty. It's just basically posture.
You also have to, like, never have your eyebrows raised, ever.
Yeah.
You gotta be, like, almost completely flat.
Because they're all adorable, so the second they raise those eyebrows, boom, Disney character. Not intimidating at all. Yeah. It's the kid who's willing to have the shittiest posture is the best bully. But, so Opie does a shitty job of understanding why bullies do the things they do, or how to talk his way out of it. Sheldon threatens to beat the crap out of him. Opie gives him a nickel.
Opie goes home, right? He's like getting ready for bed, and Andy does ask about the 2 nickels.
Andy enters and asks for a little talk. They discuss losing the nickels, because he's like, why do you need 2 nickels? And Opie's like, well, if I lost one, I'd want to have one for milk.
You know how
forgetful us children are, Pa.
Yeah, he calls out, we know Opie's age, he's 7 years old. You know how forgetful 7-year-old boys are.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, Opie, I hope you can read by now.
He's still illiterate as shit. And then he again says like the weak bones things, like, you don't want me to get weak bones, right?
Which is probably like a thing that you told children about. That's something you tell children about milk today.
I mean,
whatever Got Milk ad is Selena Gomez?
Definitely Selena Gomez.
Who's on an elementary school like cafeteria these days? Like Logan Paul?
Oh, it's definitely a YouTube star we've never... It's PewDiePie or Ninja. It's a Fortnite star.
I drink my milk so I can game harder and also not be a Nazi.
I need strong hand bones to prevent carpal tunnel. Drink milk. But one thing that's like kind of weird is like you get strong bones from drinking milk thing. Complete horseshit.
Of course it's totally made up by America's dairy farmers.
I feel like this show might have been like a part, because that probably would have happened around now, right?
Oh, probably, sure.
Yeah, we might be watching that like weird bullshit thing happen.
Wait. Are you hypothesizing that the American Dairy Board paid off the Andy Griffith Show to promote milk in this episode, and this is what David Adler came up with?
Okay, I wasn't suggesting that. I was just suggesting that maybe this was like part of it. Like we were watching the like early phases of that, but now yes, I am saying that. They went into the Andy Griffith room board. They went into the Andy Griffith Show boardroom, said, "We need you to be pro milk," and David Adler was like, "Can it involve the beating of a child?" And they were like, "Yeah, yes, you
listen, boss,
weirdo.
Listen, I got this new thing called product placement. See, what we do is we put products in our television show, and then we get paid for it. So it's like a commercial that's not a commercial. So we gotta find out one thing that people don't already know about. I got it. Milk.
We need to promote milk. Now follow me here. Adler, you can't say it makes women's breasts bigger. All right, yeah. My plan B.
This is the least horny David Adler episode.
Ellie's gone. He has no idea what to do.
He's running around in circles.
He's just channeling it all into child violence.
So
you suggested like before we did this that maybe Sheldon represents McCarthy because he'd been bullied by McCarthyism, and I'm trying to figure out how Sheldon represents his ex-wife.
No, I do think that's a possibility, though. By the way, let's just think about that. This is an episode about bullying from American Hero, I guess.
No,
we're not gonna do that.
Remember the makeup episode? We have to retract everything nice we've ever said about David Adler. He's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit who did one good thing by telling Joseph McCarthy to fuck himself.
Yeah.
Which still puts him one up on Elia Kazan.
Yeah, who is a sexist and a piece of shit. Who folded.
Who just also happened to make some of the greatest films of all time.
Quick recap on our feelings on two people for those who, I guess, are just jumping in now.
For those who came in late.
Yeah. We say weird shit about one director's name. There's one guy who writes this show who's really horny and weird and we have conflicting feelings on. And Elie Kazan, the guy who wrote On the Waterfront, is a prick. All right, you're caught up.
Let's go back to... So Opie's getting ready for bed, blah, 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 strong bones. So Andy's like, well, I'm not getting shit out of this. Like, for once in his damn life, Opie's keeping his trap shut.
Yeah. Opie is successfully, like, ducking the question. Like, he does multiple things of, like, well, I want to talk about this more. I sure am tired, Pa. I know, that's fine. Oh, God, why are you keeping me asleep? This is torture on my tiny body, Pa. Please, God, let me sleep. All right, I really want to talk about the fact that you kind of stole from me. Oh, tired, so tired, Pa. Like, Opie works him pretty well.
So, now we're in the jailhouse, it's the next day, and Andy is still working the nickel case.
It's his Zodiac killer.
He has nothing else going on.
Now, why would a child want more money than he has?
It just don't make any sense, Barn, I'll tell you.
Barney, I need you to canvass candy stores in the area. Like,
he's got, like, red string and thumbtacks and stuff. Like,
yeah, no, he's incapable of accepting the possibility that maybe his kid's a dick. Which, good, because he is right that there's something else going on.
Right. So, and Barney suggests that maybe Opie had, one of those things, what's it called, when you can envision the future?
Great development for Barney Fife in season 2. He becomes superstitious.
Yeah.
This is not a throwaway thing. Barney Fife starts believing in psychic powers and magic this season. He gets worse. So against all, I know you thought that we had hit the bottom of the barrel. You thought we had hit bedrock with Barney Fife. He tunnels down into a loose understanding of reality.
No, bedrock's the Flintstones.
Fuck you.
This is Mayberry. We're not breaking bedrock.
Actually,
oh.
Damn it, that would...
Oh! That's our sequel series, TM.
Because that pun actually makes sense.
Yes,
Fuck!
That's actually a name. Breaking bedrock is actually a thing you do. What is wrong with us? That we should have done a Flintstone show.
God damn it.
God damn it.
I mean, there's probably a lot to unpack in this one, and that one too.
We could have done the, like, weird Fred Flintstone smoking commercials.
Yeah.
So, the reason why Barney is trying to convince us that Opie really did become psychic and have a premonition about losing a nickel.
Because a child conned him.
Because Opie came in and asked him for a nickel today.
Yeah.
He was like, I was just trying to convince myself of it. So,
that I didn't get conned by a stupid illiterate little boy.
Andy says, like, the magic word that gets Barney all hot and bothered. Because he just gives it up and he's like, well, guess it's a mystery.
Barney gets immediately rock hard.
Mystery, you say?
We're back, folks. It's a Barney Fife stealth mission. It rules. Because also, this one, he's doing the shittiest job.
It's his worst stealth mission of all time.
He is less than a car length behind Opie, following him down the street, in his uniform, in his police uniform, one of the 2 police uniforms in the entire town, just barely out of this child's, like, earshot.
And then it's really fortunate for him that Opie just is completely oblivious to the outside world.
Yeah.
Like, Opie just has basically horse blinders and is, you know how babies, like, don't understand that a world exists outside of, like, their realm of vision?
Yeah.
Yeah, Opie never developed past that.
So Opie is a Metal Gear Solid NPC, perfectly. Where just, like, he has that little, like, cone that you can see on the map, and beyond that, you're fine. You could do whatever the fuck you want outside of that cone. But the best part is, if you, like, look at the extras on it, they're all staring at Barney Fife as he, like, hides behind mailboxes and, like, jumps into windows. Like, there's just a guy, like, sitting on a stoop just going, like, what the fuck is he doing?
He does the thing where you, like, cut eye holes in a newspaper that you're reading, except he botches it and he just cuts a hole the size of, like, his face. It's basically like a newspaper glory hole that he's just got going on here. He's looking out. And
then a guy, like, comes out, like, smoking a cigar and just stares down at him, and Barney Fife just hands him his newspaper that he's destroyed. I love that in this town, Barney Fife is basically, like, the leading cause of property destruction. Like, I bet you would just, like, leave your house in the middle of the night. Barney Fife would have taken apart your car and been like, I needed this to investigate a crime!
So Barney does witness Opie being bullied.
Yeah.
So he does find out what's going on. So actually, even though this is his shittiest job, this is actually the most successful Barney Fife stealth mission.
Yeah.
He accomplished what he set out to do.
He successfully does police work, I think.
No, it's not police work because there's not a crime.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, it doesn't do successful police work because I'm pretty sure that when a cop sees a child being bullied by another child, the thing they're supposed to do is none of this. Ever.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
And he's like, you did good not intervening. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure all manuals on being a cop would strongly disagree, but whatever. But yeah, they go, like, it's back at the jail. They're discussing the mugging.
Actually, I really like what Don Knotts is doing in this scene, and I don't say that very often, but I do like this bit where, like, we see, like, Barney's normal, high-strung, full alert self, but he knows, number one, even Barney knows I can't shoot a child.
Yes.
Right? But it's what happens when, for the very first time, his concerns and his, like, high-strung are all directed at care for another person.
Yeah.
Because even when Barney's doing stuff to defend Andy, it's still a little bit about Barney.
Yeah.
Like, Andy's my best friend and he's my boss, and everything that bad about Andy reflects bad on me, Barney Fife.
Yeah.
But in the case of Opie, it's just like genuine concern for Opie's well-being.
It's his emotional state throughout season 1 has always been like, I'm a big man, and how can you treat the friend of a big man like this?
In this, it's very much like Opie's two dads.
Yeah.
Like, Andy is, like, stoic and, like, concerned, and Barney is just throwing out every idea he can come up with.
Barney Fife wants to pistol whip a child. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll go and fight. So, Opie's two dads are going at this right now. And Barney does suggest maybe we should teach him to fight, which, not a bad idea.
Yeah, no.
Bad idea for Barney to do it, but not a bad idea for you to teach Opie to throw a punch.
Common thing when a kid's getting bullied, you, like, take him to a karate class or something. Like, the karate class will teach him, like, don't fight, but the kid will know how to fight, so they'll be more confident and less easy to bully.
Yeah, and Andy specifically says that he doesn't want Opie to go looking for fights, but he doesn't want him to shy away when he's right.
Barney does do another good idea, where he says, well, why don't we go tell Sheldon's dad that he's bullying your kid? And Andy says, well, no, that'll just deeply embarrass Opie. We can't do that. Which, the standard thing to do is not, like, parent-to-parent direct conflict. You're supposed to go through an authority figure. Like the town sheriff. So, like, yeah, it's another, like, Andy is shooting down good ideas left and right here.
Actually, this would be the one time it would be appropriate for Barney Fife to just go and like, yell at someone.
Yeah, no, you go just, like, tell the kid's parents that your kid is beating the shit out of other kids. Because Sheldon is probably not just bullying Opie.
That's true.
Yeah, he's probably bullying multiple kids, and Andy is just like, well, gotta make sure that my son is able to deal with this self-sufficiently. That's his whole thing, is he wants Opie to deal with it himself. He wants Opie to not be embarrassed. He can't let Opie know that he knows that he's being bullied, because Opie will feel too ashamed. And so yeah.
Full disclaimer, Dan and I do not have children.
Yeah. I mean, I got a little bit of a personal thing with this, just because, I mean, I was bullied as a kid, obviously, from the way I talk and act and
are.
Yeah. I kind of had a weird thing where, I was bullied, and as soon as I punched my bully in the face, he immediately went away. This was way too late, way after all the damage had already been done, but it also, like, you should, like, everyone did a good job telling me to not hit my bully, because, there are kids that, like, try that shit, where they're like, I'm gonna fight my bully, and they just, like, throw punch at the first kid who talks the slightest amount of shit, and just alienates everyone around them. Because kids can't make those decisions about whether or not they should be fighting another kid.
I, too, was bullied a little bit in junior high and high school, and I, too, wound up hitting my bully. But the thing about that bully was he didn't like Jews.
Yeah.
He didn't like Jews before I hit him, and he didn't like Jews after I hit him. And he probably really doesn't like Jews today.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it was bullying as much as it was outright white supremacy. At what point does bullying become a hate crime? Because that may have happened to me in, like, 9th grade.
That's a real, like, what is the sound of one hand clapping type deal. Like, when does bullying become a hate crime based on the bully's motivations? So I think we both have a little bit of, like skin in the game on this one. Like,
I guess. I don't care that much, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and go to the fishing hole, which is the next scene.
Yeah. They're fishing, and Opie's like, wow, this fishing spot is incredible. We're catching fish left and right.
I think it was just like Andy wants to have a time to talk to his kid.
Yeah.
So let's go fishing.
Yeah.
Again, the most quintessential Andy Griffith thing. This is a very Andy Griffith show, Andy Griffith episode.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It doesn't hit all the check marks unless there's talk of how good Andy is at fishing. So Opie asks how Andy found this fishing spot, to which Andy responds with a lie. You very clearly see Andy make the decision to lie to his son.
And it is very important. I didn't realize how important it was the second time I watched this episode. You need to understand everything Andy is about to say is bullshit.
Well, one day, I snuck away to my secret spot. I hadn't no more'n got my line in when, what do you reckon I saw?
What?
Hody Snitch is standing there.
Hody Snitch? Who's he?
Tough little fella used to live in this town a long time ago. Seems he snuck right after me when I snuck away.
Dirty snake.
Yeah. Yeah, he was sneaky. But that ain't the worst of it. He says to me, Hody says, he says, beat it, boy. He says, from now on, this here's my spot. Says, if I catch you fishing here again, I'm gonna tear you into little bitty pieces and use you for bait.
What'd you do, Paul? What'd you do?
I left. It shames me to say it, son, but I picked myself up and I crawled out of there like I was a whipped pup, which I was.
How come, Paul? Why didn't you make him crawl out of there like a whipped pup?
'Cause he acted tough and I was scared of him.
What was... Oh. Some fellas sure talk tough, don't they, Paul?
They surely do. Only you know what I found out?
What?
I found out that tough talks just talk. Sit down on that log there and let me fix your shoe.
You did?
Did what?
Found out the tough talks just talk?
I surely did.
How?
Well, I got to feeling bad. Mighty bad. You know why?
'Cause he took away your milk money. I mean, your fishing spot.
Yeah, that was it. At first. And then it got to be for a different reason. I got to feeling mighty ashamed because I was too scared to protect what was rightfully mine. Mighty ashamed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you're looking at a fella that felt lower than a two-faced, sniveling, crawling...
Lily livery?
How'd you know?
Well, I got a pretty good imagination.
Well, you imagine absolutely correct. I felt so low that a little bitty ant couldn't have walked under me. And I tried every way I knew to get shut of that feeling, but I just kept feeling lower and lower. And then one day when I was in school, the teacher was telling us young'uns about how this country of ours begun, and she told us about this fella that says millions for charity, but not 1 penny for tribute. And then she explained to us what that meant.
What does it mean, Paul?
Well, that means that it's fine and dandy to give away something because you want to, but not because you're scared the other fellow's gonna give you a punch in the nose if you don't. You know what I did? I got my fishing gear and I marched myself right down to my old fishing hole.
You did?
I did. And there was Hody. Tough guy Hody. And you know what happened?
He got scared and ran away.
Nope. He did just exactly like he promised he would.
A knuckle sandwich?
Right on the nose.
Oh.
You know what I did? I laughed.
You did? How come?
Because it come to me that what I'd been so scared of wasn't really worth being scared of at all. I didn't even feel that knuckle sandwich.
You didn't?
Not a bit. And I lit into him like a windmill in a tornado.
What happened?
Me and you fished that spot, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy says, Andy basically passes on the moral that if you fight your bully, he doesn't say if you fight your bully, they'll leave you alone. Because that's like the normal thing. Like that's what Freaks and Geeks did. Like if you fight your bully, you'll probably lose, but they'll leave you alone because you won't be an easy target anymore.
Pretty common idea.
Andy Griffith takes a different route of he says, like, hey, if you fight your bully, 1, their punches won't hurt you.
Yeah.
And 2, you will win. So he takes a little bit of a different route to be like, hey, by the way, did I ever mention that you're Colossus from X-Men? Did I ever mention that you're incapable of feeling pain and you can beat any man who enters one-on-one combat with you? I totally left that out. Okay, well, get on out there, small child.
He's hoping to inspire his son to be brave like him, except he didn't do a brave thing.
No!
He's a liar!
He made up this bully and this fight. Like, when he says, like, I lit into him like a windmill. No, he did not!
I won this fictional fight, so you, my son, can go win a very real fight. Wow, I just heard my father's voice come out of myself.
The best thing is, like, he teaches his son that there's no such thing as pain. He's like,
you're impervious to pain when
being punched in the face doesn't hurt. Like, did you know that, Opie? Did you know that there's no pain, like, nerve endings in your face? Get on out there.
I mean, to be fair, most of the time, like, if you've been hit or whatever, it probably doesn't hurt at first.
Yeah.
You know, shock exists.
Yeah.
But you do hurt later on.
Yeah. And I'd say you, maybe for the first 5 seconds you don't hurt. Your head starts hurting pretty hard, pretty quick. But yeah, so he tells Opie this bullshit story, and then Opie proceeds to ask him 10,000 questions.
The next 8 minutes is just Opie asking questions. Like,
being punched in the face doesn't hurt? Dad, who I trust, who would never lie to me? No, it doesn't, Opie. And you beat him up very easily? This person who exists? Father, who raised me? Who is establishing my sense of what is and is not true? That's right, son, who I'm responsible for. Did you bleed, father? That's the weirdest question Opie actually asks. Is like, did you bleed? No.
You will.
To which Andy responds, no, you never bleed. You'll never. We're like Balder. We Griffiths are of myth. It's so fucking dumb and shitty parenting and the most toxically masculine bullshit of, like, Opie, like, he's actively encouraging Opie to not communicate, to not trust in authority figures, and to, like, completely define his ability to get out of, like, physical intimidation through violence.
And then doesn't teach him to fight.
No!
Gives him no instruction whatsoever. We totally missed the Master Splinter scene. We totally missed the part where you actually become Batman.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's like, just go out, you don't know how to throw a punch, just go out there and hit his body with your body.
Make sure you tuck your thumb under your fingers. Keep your wrist real limp and go for it.
I mean, that's also a thing that, like, Andy assures Opie that he's going to be fine in this fight. He does not know Sheldon's deal. And in all likelihood, the reason that Sheldon is beating the shit out of other kids is probably because someone bigger is beating the shit out of Sheldon, either a dad or an older brother. And a person who is in that situation probably knows how to fucking fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their life is fucking violent. So Opie, in a realistic situation, is about to get his fucking arms broken. Let Don Knotts teach him karate like he did in that one episode.
So we're preparing for this. The rest of the episode is, like, building up to the, like, showdown, which happens off screen.
Yeah. Because
I guess you probably still couldn't show 2 children in a fist fight.
I feel like that might have been a dramatic thing, because I feel 100% certain that you could show 2 children in a fist fight back then.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that you could just, like, in terms of violence, back then you could do whatever. You could show, like, Opie setting another kid on fire, and it would probably beat standards and practices. But the next scene is the living room. Opie actually gives his, like, school clothes to Andy and says, I'm gonna come pick these up later, because the clothes I'm wearing are going to be torn and ragged and bloodied. Goodbye, father. And Andy's like, I'm proud of you, son. Goodbye.
Like, he's giving him his belongings as he goes off to war. Like, hold on to this. I'll need it when I get back.
He's not, like, that should have been a massive red flag to Andy, because Opie isn't like, I'm gonna get a little bit of blood on my shirt. Opie's like, so whatever I'm wearing is going to be ruined, and I'm going to need another pair of clothes.
At least Opie is, like, realistic. He basically comes into, like, I'm gonna lose this fight, father.
And then it prompts just the weirdest hug where Opie is just like, you sure you didn't even feel it when he punched you in the face? And Andy, again lying, says, no. And then they hug.
I mean, it's true. He didn't feel it because it didn't happen. Technically, that part is true.
There's going to be like a fucking moment like during the Happy Days period where little Opie is going to like look up in his father's yearbook, like, I'm gonna find this kid that fought my dad, find out that he doesn't exist, that Andy just made up a name, and then feel this deep sense of betrayal.
I like this idea you have that, like, Opie just becomes Richie Cunningham and switches dads at some point?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're all the same person.
Yeah, no, Opie kills a kid, and then takes his place to escape his incredibly... After this betrayal from his father, finding out that Andy has been basically building a tapestry of lies around him throughout his entire adolescent life, Opie enters a temporary state of psychosis, kills another kid who looks like him, they both happen to look like Ron Howard, and then assumes his identity. But yeah, so they have a very weird, heartwarming hug before Opie goes off to war. Which is then followed by a scene in the jail where they're waiting for Opie's fight that is like... It's like some 3:10 to Yuma shit.
Yeah, they're like watching the clock. They're like, what's going on? Like, and it really comes up, like, it raises the question, don't you people have anything to do?
Yeah.
They have spent their entire day waiting for 2 7-year-olds to fight.
Boy fights! It's so fucking weird. Like,
Blue Star!
It's like, Barney's just like kind of sitting there like, oh, I can't wait for these two children to beat the piss out of each other.
You think that, like, Barney and Otis had, like, bets going?
Yes.
It was definitely, like, there was definitely some, like, Floyd was the bookie. There was definitely some deals going on.
There was definitely, so what, like, there's definitely a scene on the cutting room floor where Otis is, like, taking bets and running as a bookie, and Barney is, like, comes in, like, break it up, and then does that thing, like...
The mayor's there, 50 cents on the ginger!
I put down money on the ugly one! And then
somebody wired Bobby Fleet, because Bobby Fleet would be all over a kid fight.
Just as the, as Opie and Sheldon are like rolling around on the ground beating the piss out of each other, a bunch of grown-ass men are like, yeah, get him! Go for his knees! He has weak knees!
His bones are weak, he doesn't eat milk!
You've been depriving him of calcium for weeks, Sheldon! Go for his shitty bones!
That's what it is. Sheldon's running the long game.
Yeah.
He's gonna soften those bones for the final fight.
Exactly. Yeah. His mistake was believing bullshit 1950s propaganda science. Opie's bones were strong from whatever it actually makes bones strong.
So then Opie comes in and he's got a big old black eye. He's got a shiner. He got beat up. He's ripped up. He looks like he fell down a hill, basically. And
yeah, he's got like a little rascal's black eye and shit. It's Like,
it looks like he looked through a telescope that had like shoe shine on the lens.
Yeah, no. The makeup department just threw some soot in his eye and went home.
Yeah.
And he's extremely proud of his black eye. He's like, look at it, father! Ain't it a beaut?
Yeah, in the epilogue, he won't let Andy put steak on it, because he wants it to swell up and bruise even more.
Which, just, again, the, like, toxic masculinity settling into this little child's brain.
I look cooler this way.
My sense of self is tied to how much physical harm I can endure. Yeah! This is a healthy thing for me to be extremely proud of.
Everything about this is incredibly unhealthy, which was pointed out. I've been looking at the comments on the ultra-reliable Mayberry wiki because I hate myself.
Oh, God.
And as recently as February 12th, someone anonymously, because they didn't want to get run off the Mayberry wiki boards, said, this episode is very outdated, mainly because of how serious bullying has become nowadays. Back then, it wasn't such a huge issue. But both the episode's ending and moral are wrong by today's standards because of how serious bullying has become. Gotta reiterate that point. If the show had been made today, it it would have most certainly had a different ending and moral, which is actually very true. Like, that's a surprising level of self-awareness for the Mayberry Wiki commenters.
Yeah.
And as recently as 17 days ago, by the way, I love watching the difference in time between comments on the Mayberry Wiki. Like, one person posted something on the wrong show episode, and 2 years later, they were informed of this by a second commenter. 17 days ago, the reply comment was, many are outdated, meaning many of the episodes. Just different times. Shrug. I gotta be honest though, I agree with this commenter, and this is one of the few times you'll hear me on our show go, yeah, it was a little easier back in the day. I'm gonna go with all the back in the day, because now you can't punch a bully. They exist on the internet.
Okay.
They will just whittle your self-esteem down forever in every, like, escape hole that you have. Like, I'm gonna go look at Instagram to see a picture of a cat, and oh, there's an entire account dedicated to how much I suck and should die.
Okay, so hard disagree on that, because I feel like this episode did some fucking damage, because there were, like, families that were, like, internalizing this message on how to deal with a bully. Like, your kid, like, Jonathan was getting bullied at school, and you're like, why can't you just be like Opie and punch them? And the kid is like, okay, so I tried that, and he's not Sheldon-sized. He has, like, 20 pounds on me. He threw me. He just kind of, like, punted me down the street, so what else you got? And the dad is like, fight harder! I'm not going to get you fighting lessons! So, like,
fight harder, I got nothing else on this.
Like, the moral of the story, like, the tire hit the pavement on this in the real world, and some kids got their asses whooped as a result.
Counterpoint, and I feel like we're splitting hairs here. At least being able to punch a bully is doing something. At least there is a mode of operations here.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to the internet, when it comes to anonymous cyberbullying, what, you're gonna, like, report them?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, anonymous cyberbullying is worse. But...
Yeah. So I think we can agree that, like, bullying is worse.
Oh,
today.
yeah, bullying got worse because you can, like, get into someone's psyche and set up shop and do some damage. But I guess, like, maybe the message is just sort of outdated, because does anyone actually get the shit kicked out of them in school anymore, do you think? Do bullies beat you up anymore? I know cyberbullying is, like, the predominant thing, but is actual physical violence still happening?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Are you sure? Because I could actually see a bully, like, being there, like, I could expend physical energy hitting you, or I could just do some fucked up shit on Snapchat that would ruin your entire month. I feel like maybe maybe
I can just get you to just break your psyche.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I was getting all worked up, but this whole entire thing might be completely fucking moot.
It might be. I feel like kids still get beat up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no, and this is a shitty rule of thumb. Like, again, this did like cascading damage, where, like, lessons from this were internalized and informed the way that parents thought about their kids and kids thought about themselves. Like, just beyond how to actually deal with a bully. This teaches a really strong lesson that your sense of value is determined from your ability to inflict violence on the world. Like, it would be one thing if Opie got the shit kicked out of him, but still felt proud of himself after. Still not great, but that would be a thing. But Opie, like, stands triumphant because he beat the piss out of Sheldon.
I feel like there's a lot of different approaches, and I don't think anyone's come up with a good way to, like, what to tell your kid when they're being bullied.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like just fight back does not work, and there's probably been studies and probably a lot of evidence that doesn't work, because
it doesn't work just because, like, there are situations where studies have shown that fighting back against your bully works. The problem is no kid is smart enough to identify those situations. So you can't tell kids to do that, because in a lot of situations it'll either A, get their asses beat, or B, they'll be punching someone who wasn't actually bullying them, they just thought they were being bullied, and make it way worse because they'll isolate themselves socially and make it easier for bullies to pick on them. But Yeah, no, the thing, like, this treats it as a catch-all rule, and it's something that basically kind of works sometimes, but should never be endorsed by an adult, because it's kids fighting each other.
Yeah. So, like, in terms of, like, ratings for this, I almost can't give this, like, too many fifes, to be honest. I think Andy presents a bad idea, but it's not the worst idea. It's not the worst thing he could have done.
I think a way I like think about five scores is how much damage do I feel like this did, just from how far back it was.
Sure.
Like, I think like it's sort of like kind of a butterfly effect thing, where just something that's like not that big of a deal back in Andy Griffith days can sort of echo like through time and do more and more damage with like after the episode airs. And the
Andy Griffith Show is not the only and probably not the first show to do a kid being bullied episode. That's pretty common, and I actually feel like it'd be interesting to go through and look at the like bullying episodes, the very special episodes of numerous shows throughout the decades, and see how and even if they change approaches. Because I do feel like just fight back is consistent. I feel like I was seeing that message in the 90s.
Yeah, no, I mean, it happened as recently as Freaks and Geeks, man. Like, this message endured.
Right.
Yeah. Well after just any sort of authority on the subject was like, no, stop telling your kids to do this. Like, you can probably find examples as recent as, like, probably actually, like, this year, there's probably... Last Man Standing probably has an episode where Tim Allen tells a kid to beat the shit out of another kid.
I feel like everyone on Last Man Standing is an adult, but you won't pay me enough money to watch Last Man Standing and find out.
Tim Allen just kind of, like, grabs a kid off the street and tells him to fight another kid. Like, he just, like, he jumps out of a moving car, grabs a kid and be like, do you have a bully? What? Fight him! Fight the bully!
That's not an episode of Last Man Standing. That's Exhibit A in Tim Allen's child endangerment trial.
That was during the cocaine years.
Yeah, he snitched on another child abductor, and that's how he got off. Quick reminder, Tim Allen should be in prison.
Yeah, he should. Fuck, what were we on?
He was a snitch.
Oh, yeah, he was a piece of shit.
Yeah, no.
He narked.
Tim Allen can't go back to Detroit. There are probably still people that want to kill him.
I mean, you could say that about a lot of places in America.
That people want to kill Tim Allen there?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I want to kill Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Don't come to Philadelphia, Tim.
You're not welcome.
Gritty will get you.
Yeah, we'll set Gritty on you. He'll emerge from the shadows. Yeah, but, okay, yeah, so I think, like, I'm gonna give it a high 5 score just because I feel like the lessons of this kind of echoed down. It's like the one episode about how, you should ignore domestic disputes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that message, like, kind of echoed and did some damage.
Alright, so, Andy Meter. How good is this episode? This episode is not that good, to be honest. There's
a lot of good moments. Like a lot of the acting is good. A lot of the shots are well done. The jailhouse scene, despite the fact they're waiting for two children to beat each other up, is really well shot and well written.
Don Knotts is good in this. He gets to do something a little bit different with Barney.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like he kind of gets the handle on Barney this episode.
So I'm on 6.
6, yeah.
It's good, not great.
It's good, but I'm not that into how good it is.
Yeah. Perfectly passable. It I guess should get some points for setting up the, like, Andy as, like, strong father solving or passing lessons on to the son. It is, like, the most father knows best of these. It's the quintessential Andy.
You see some shit happening here. You see, like, the idea of Andy Griffith as America's dad forming.
Yeah.
6.
And 5 meter, I still can't go higher than, like, a 4.
I'm gonna say 7.
Okay.
Yeah. This bothered me more than it bothered you. Yeah.
All right, so that is it for our first episode back on the job here at Breaking Mayberry. Don't forget, if you like the show, you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/breakingmayberry, where you can sign up and donate and get bonus episodes, deleted scenes, extra content on the joy of knowing that you're financially supporting your two favorite television critics?
We're something.
Kind of.
Two favorite dudes. I think our professional titles are just dudes.
Fair.
And as bonus content, the one that's currently up there is our review of The Littlest Hobo, a story about a dog who fights crime. And we're going to...
Who might be psychic?
A psychic dog who fights crime. And this month we're going to be doing fanfic.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We've looked over the Andy Griffith page of fanfiction.net, and there is a lot.
We're going to be doing this month either Andy Griffith versus Batman, Andy Griffith versus the Hulk, or Andy Griffith versus an anime I've never heard of. So one of those three, I think.
Oh, we gotta say the name of it. It's like, or Andy Taylor's Dragon Maid?
Yeah.
It's something like that. So you will be allowed to vote on what fanfic we read.
Try to pick which one is going to be the most erotic. You'll probably get it wrong.
In the meantime, if you want to check us out online, we are on Twitter at Break Mayberry, Facebook.com/Breaking Mayberry. You can talk to me on the internets. I am at Schneid Remarks on Twitter.
I'm at The Luds with 2 Ds.
Ron Howard, of course, is always at Real Ron Howard. And this time around, why don't you #tweet at Ron Howard? Teach Ron Howard how to fight.
For the love of God, this man is getting his ass kicked by children.
Just still, to this day.
To this day, Sheldon is still on him.
Ron Howard, like, on set, still has, like, a large blonde man who is, like, only slightly taller than Ron Howard.
Ron Howard has not had a nickel on his person since the 60s. Anytime he, like, a barista hands him a nickel for his coffee, just Sheldon shows up to whoop his ass and take it.
So send him, like an MMA video or something. Like, it's probably like a YouTube how to throw a punch.
Yeah, no.
Wiki how.
Help this poor man out. He needs your help.
So yeah, do that. #tweet at Ron Howard.
Outro music by Max Ludwig at
Yeah.
Sleepy Talkie. Artwork by Emily Christina at Scrib Emily.
On Instagram, right?
On Instagram at Scrib Emily.
So that wraps it up for us. Thank you so much for coming back for us for Season 2 of Breaking Mayberry. Once again, we will still see you all down at the fishing hole.
We'll come back. Episode in before mentioning Gritty.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about Gritty all season long.
Oh, yeah, buckle up. We're both Philadelphians. It's like the Renaissance here, all right? Everyone's excited. There's an electricity in the air. We're all talking about Gritty almost every time any of us are drunk.
Which is often.
Often.